Now the Cowboys, this is another loser. Jerry Jones' birthday, they got embarrassed. 47-9. The Detroit Lions were doing everything in their power to embarrass the Cowboys as well. Penei Sewell, he had a little lateral toss to him, almost scored a touchdown. Dan Skipper, they were just doing so many things, so many creative things. It was cool to watch, but they were throwing the ball to Amon St. Brown, fourth quarter, touchdown to him, up 30 points. It looked like they were out for blood. And I don't blame them because they did get hoed in the game last year against the Cowboys by the refs, but there was a point that needed to be proved. But Cowboys this season, Dak Prescott, you paid him all this money, and this year already, it looks like it's going to be the same result once again. I know you have some guys banged up defensively, Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, your two best defenders. Deron Bland's coming back this week, potentially, but it's been a shit show. Mike Zimmer, that hire, hasn't looked good. Baltimore had their way against you. You came back in garbage time. Saints had their way against you. Alvin Kamara had 4 touchdowns. And then against the Detroit Lions, you put up another terrible defensive performance. So, yeah, Mike Zimmer, bad hire. Michael McCarthy, it looks like he's going to be on his way out. Dak Prescott, you gave him the bag, so he's going to be staying. But I don't know what could salvage this Cowboys team because this season already, I know this season they're 3-3, but the next couple games after the bye week, they got San Francisco, which I think the 49ers are going to walk all over them. George Kittle, I hate Dallas Cowboys. This rivalry hasn't been much of a rivalry because the Cowboys have not won, but the 49ers, that's going to be another blowout. Atlanta, I think Atlanta beats the Cowboys. Philadelphia, I think Philadelphia will beat the Cowboys. I know they've had their struggles, but I think they're still a better team than the Cowboys. Houston will beat the Cowboys. Washington can beat the Cowboys. How they've looked, that run game is serious, and the Cowboys can't stop the run at all. And they can't run the ball either. Two of the biggest flaws you can have as a football team. You can't run the ball and you can't stop the run. You're not going to win too many football games. So, yeah, this Cowboys team, they didn't make any moves in the offseason. Eric Kendricks was their best free agent offseason move. I like the draft they had, but this offensive line, you're definitely missing pieces. You're missing guys like a Tyron Smith. Definitely missing Tony Pollard. Ezekiel Elliott, how many yards did he give you against the Lions? 17? That's insane. So the Cowboys, I don't think this team's a playoff team. They're 3-3 right now. I could see them losing the next 5 games. It's just been that bad. Micah Parsons, their best defensive player, is probably going to miss 1 or 2 of those games, maybe 3. Don't know what his return timeline's looking like. The next 5 games, these are games that could potentially be blowouts. Again, 5 teams that are better than the Cowboys right now. I feel like with firing Mike McCarthy, it doesn't matter because as long as Jerry Jones is there, this team is not going to amount to shit. The culture, the identity, this organization, it's just poorly ran. Jerry Jones, the attention he brings, the ego he has, is just ruining this franchise. Just the playoff woes. I think Jim Harbaugh could be the only one that could save this organization. Mike Vrabel, Bill Belichick, but Jerry Jones would not bring in coaches like that. Maybe a Ben Johnson would be nice, but right now I don't have too much hope in the Cowboys this year. I think coming off the loss against Detroit, this is their worst loss they've had at home since 1988. So this season, for me, I don't see the Cowboys as a threat. I don't see them making the playoffs. I think the Commanders are better than them. The Giants could even give them some go when they play the Giants after these next tough 5 games. So it's going to be interesting to say the least. Some people thought the NFC North was going to be the worst division in football this season. They thought it was going to be as bad as the NFC South.